Yo, what up, family? Welcome back to the channel, So Focused Marketing and Promotions Tech and Lifestyle channel. I'm your host, Mr. I'm So Focused. All right, today what we got puppy formula for newborn puppies, and if you tube feeding a puppy or if you bottle feeding a puppy. Currently, I'm tube feeding a puppy. I've been tube feeding a puppy since day one. And the puppy is still thriving at this point. So I just wanted to put a quick video together on what ingredients I use to make puppy formula. So so pretty much this is my way. You can watch plenty other videos on YouTube. A lot of people got videos on YouTube on how to make their puppy formula. This is my way. I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way. You do what works for you and your puppies and your litter. So this puppy that I got, I'll probably show it to y'all at the back end of this video. So stay tuned and lock in and watch the whole video the whole way through. And I'll show you what this puppy is looking like as of today. Today is what, April 11th or something like that. I'll show you what he's looking at. He was born on April 1st. So he'll be 2 weeks this coming Tuesday. And he's been on puppy formula the whole time, never saw a nipple. And this is what I've been feeding him since day one, minus the Gerber oatmeal. I just added that in just to thicken it up a little bit. It holds them down a little while longer, so you're not feeding every 2 hours. Right now, he's getting fed maybe every 3.5 to 4 hours, but at first, obviously, you gotta pay a lot of attention to them. So it's every 2 hours, and you up pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Whelping ain't for the weak. Let's just say that. If you got a good whelper, and you trust them, anything can happen with these whelpers. So you can't, even if you trust them, anything can happen with these puppies, I should say. So if you put your trust in a whelper, good luck. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's nothing against whelpers, because if you're gonna do it yourself, well, actually, let me back up a little bit. Nobody gonna treat your puppies the way you're gonna treat your puppies. And if anything happens to your puppies while you're whelping them, listen, it is what it is. I'm just saying, if you got a puppy, if you got a dog that's pregnant and you planning on whelping a litter, listen, I'm here to tell you. Don't let nobody tell you that it's easy. Don't let nobody tell you that it's smooth. It's smooth. Nah, anything can happen. You could bring the mother home and she won't have no milk. She might not want to even feed the puppy. She might not even like the puppy. She might try to kill the puppies. So many variables that can happen, and then this is where you end up with this. You have to tube feed the puppy, or you got to bottle feed the puppy. So this is where I'm currently at. The mother, she didn't have no milk when I brought her home, so I had to, go the next route. So I watched tons of videos, and this is my way. This is what I do. You can watch other videos, and you can do whatever you do at your crib. But don't let nobody tell you what to do at your house. You can mix and match. You could, play around with different ingredients, but you do what works for your puppies. And this right here, what I'm about to show y'all, has been working for me. So first up, we got the Ultra 24 multi-species milk replacer. This comes in a big bag. This bag is crazy big. I might not even use this whole bag by the time he's off of this formula, but I'm gonna be adding it to his mush when he turns 3 weeks. So he's definitely gonna be, not this Tuesday because he's gonna be 2 weeks. The next Tuesday after that, once he hits 3 weeks, I'm putting him on mush, and I'll probably do another video of that if you know what I'm saying, if need be. But this is what I'm feeding. This is like the main formula right here that I put in. So this is 1 scoop of this to every 2 cups of water. 1 scoop of this to every 2 cups of water. That's it says a lot of stuff on the back, but I'm keeping it in layman's terms for y'all. 1 scoop of this every 2 cups of water. So no matter what you put, if you use a cup, you use the scooper that comes inside of it. It's just one scoop and 2 scoops of water. So that's the ratio that you got to mix it with. So you could read this for yourself. It got high protein, Well, let's just read it from the front, from the beginning. Complete and balanced nutrition for calves, um, kids, lambs, piglets, foals, llamas, alpacas, fawns, elk, calves, and the last one said crias. I don't even know what that is, but it says 24% fat, 24% oil milk proteins to support optimal digestibility and performance. Designed for dry supplement used during weaning or times of stress. So, times of stress is probably more towards the human being because you're gonna be stressed out if that puppy is not, if the mother's not feeding the puppy, or that puppy steady crying, or you have to go to another plan because things are not going as you saw it before you started whelping these puppies. I only got one left for my litter, so that's the one that I'm whelping. But uh sometimes you might have 6 puppies. Sometimes you might have 7, 10, 12 puppies. It's not for the weak. It's not, it's not. So don't let nobody tell you different. If you open your own puppies, it's not for the weak. But if you got a trusted whelper that you've been using, get those puppies. I'm telling you right now, get those puppies out of your house for 3 to 4 weeks. Some whelpers take the mom and the puppies. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Some of them take it for the whole 8 weeks. I think, in my personal opinion, 3 weeks is 3 weeks is that point that'll get you right, because at 3 weeks, their eyes are open, they're alert, they're moving around, and most importantly, you can feed them mush, so you don't have to do all of this mixing and all of this crazy stuff. You get them on a nice mush formula, and boom, they feed themselves out of a bowl, and then you're done. Don't get me wrong, tube feeding is much easier to me personally. I know I'm gonna get some comments down below about, oh, it's better for the mother, this and that, whatever, whatever. But tube feeding is 1, 2, 3. You put the formula inside the syringe, you get this tube, and then I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all at the back end of this video. So stay tuned. I'll show y'all a quick video on how I do it. But it takes less than a minute, 30 seconds tops. 30 seconds tops, tube feeding. And then boom, you put the puppy back in the incubator, put the puppy back on the heat source, I should say, and then you move on with your life. You know what I'm saying? You go take a nap, you do whatever and then come back and do it again in about 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever it is. All right, but this is the Ultra 24. This is the suggested measurements that you use, but like I said, it's 1 scoop of this for 2 scoops of water. So if you use 1 cup of this, 2 cups of water. That's pretty much it. So these are the ingredients. I don't know if anybody is interested in these ingredients, but it is what it is. Oh, I just saw that it got coconut oil in it. I never read the back of this ingredients, but I see that now that I'm looking at it, got a lot of good stuff in here. You can use this. You can use the Ultra 24. You can use the Espalac milk replacer. They got the goat's milk, come straight out the can or out the container. Whatever you want to use is a bunch of ingredients that you can use, and you mix and match and whatever works best for you. Next up, we got the Karo syrup. You get this from the grocery store. Get it from Amazon. Get it from anywhere. Anywhere you seen fit. Whatever works for you. This is just like to get their immune system like built up, to give them like some extra sugar. This stuff is extra sweet, but you can see it right there. High fructose corn syrup. This, I just mix it in my whole. Sometimes you're supposed to like put this on the tip of your finger if you got like a fading puppy, and you could put this like on their gums, or you could put it on their tongue, or on the upper side of their mouth, and it gives them like that boost, to bring them back a little bit. If they fade, if you see them fading or whatever. I'll show y'all some other stuff when I show y'all how the tube feeding part of this video, or what else I use, like an extra supplement or whatever. But this is Karo syrup. This is good stuff. You know, this is like one of the staples that you'll probably see in a lot of puppies, a lot of puppy a lot of puppy formula videos for whelping. You'll see this a lot for tube feeding. This is one of the staples that you'll see. Next up, got Pedialyte, the clear kind, no flavor based or nothing like that. This is just the clear Pedialyte that you would pick up for like an infant baby, human baby, I should say. You know, some people even drink this like if they got a cold or whatever, but this is just plain Pedialyte. So I put this inside the formula that when I mix it also, and obviously this gives them, you know, increased immune system, you know, electrolytes and all of this, all of the good stuff. But this is the clear one, you know, no cherry flavor, orange flavor, none of that. Just get the plain basic Pedialyte and you rock out with that. And last but not least is the Gerber oatmeal Gerber oatmeal cereal. This is just, you know, you just put this in to thicken it up so you're not feeding a puppy mostly. This is how it looks on the inside. You're not feeding a puppy just liquid all the time. You thicken this, you put this in with the liquid and it thickens it up and it's heavier coating on the puppy's stomach. So they sleep longer and they're more, you know, they're fuller longer. And you know, you can sleep longer. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you. So again, this is what works for me. And I'm gonna mix a batch of it real quick so y'all can see what it looks like. And then we just gonna go from there. But just stay with me real quick. I use a cup like this. This cup right here, when I make this formula, it lasts me about 7 days in the refrigerator. I feed my puppy right now 10 milliliters per session, if that makes sense to y'all. So 10 milliliters every feeding, 3 to 4 times every 3 to 4 hours. So I don't know how many times that is a day, but every 3 to 4 hours he gets 10 milliliters of this formula. And I'm gonna show y'all how he looks. I'm gonna show y'all how he look at the end of this video. So lock in. All right. So this is like a regular container. I don't know. Whatever. Use whatever container you want. But this container is like from the Chinese spot. That's where you would get like a container like this that I would see, and it's like when you lemonade or whatever comes in here. Let's just say that. All right. I don't know how many ounces that container is. I don't know. It's a big container. All right. So again, I'm taking the Ultra 24. Pardon the shaking of the camera, but I gotta do this with one hand. So in the Ultra 24, this is the scoop that comes with it. So again, like I told y'all, 1 scoop of this, 2 scoops of water. So what I do is I fill this all the way up. One scoop of this. Put it in there. Then I'll get some hot water. Rinse that out. And I'll put 2 scoops of hot water. Well, whatever, warm water, hot water, whatever you want to do. Two. All right. Then, what I do next, you could go in there's no particular order. You just mixing everything up at this point. So I take the Karo syrup. I don't add a lot of this because like this is like a sweetener. This is extra sweet. This is like the equivalent to like syrup for pancakes or waffles or something like that. So I just pour a little bit of that. Just like that. Then next up, I take the Pedialyte. Just add a little bit of that. Remember, this is a huge portion. This, like I said, this lasts me 7 days in the refrigerator, and then I just use it. I use a microwavable cup, a regular cup or whatever, a Pyrex glass or whatever, and I put like about 10 milliliters inside of it. I don't measure it out. I just eyeball it at this point, and then I heat it up like for 30 seconds in the microwave. I get it to like a good temperature. I don't give it to them immediately. You gotta let it cool down first, obviously, and then you put the formula on your hand or you put your finger and you test it to make sure that it's not scalding hot. It needs to be like room temperature or like warm, and then you feed it to them. Never feed the puppy cold milk. Because remember, you're taking them out of a heat source where they're in an incubator or under the heat lamp, and then you give them cold milk. It could cause aspiration. It could cause all kinds of stuff. So aspiration to a puppy is like deadly. If a puppy gets aspirated, it could lead to pneumonia, and then the puppy could die. So at this stage, you don't even want that nonsense. So the last ingredient was the Gerber, and I usually use a lot of this because I usually want it thicker. So at this point, that's all the ingredients that you have in there. And then what you could do next, or what you have to do next, is this thing is almost filled to the top. As you can see, you leave a little room so that you can shake it. So I use the cover. I keep the cover. And sometimes not sometimes, all the time, I stir it first with like a spoon first. And then the cover comes in handy because you put the cover on and then you just shake it. When you do it like this first, you get all the lumps out. You don't want no lumps or no air bubbles inside of this. You want it to look like a smooth, creamy. Right now, I'm not gonna be able to shake it, but on the next clip, when I'm feeding him, I'll show y'all exactly what it's looking like. Or I'll just clip this out and come back, shake it up, and then I'm gonna show y'all what it looked like after I shake it up. Just lock in. I'll be right back. All right, so we back in. So this is what it looks like after you have shaken it, and obviously you just shake it until they get like to this consistency. See, you don't want it too liquidy. At this point, at first, when you first bring the puppy home and the mom is not producing milk, or she don't like the puppy, she not feeding them, she not laying down, she not staying there. The consistency that you want it like very, very liquidy, because it has to like be like the consistency. Think of the consistency of milk that's coming out of the nipple or whatever from the mother. But as time goes on, you want to thicken it up. Well, this is what I do. I'm not. This, you do what you need to do at your crib, but I thicken it up. That's the consistency that you want. So these are all the ingredients that I got right here inside here. I added a little bit more of the Gerber because I wanted it a more thicker consistency. See that? And then when you about to feed it to the puppy and you heat it up a little bit, you're gonna shake it up and you're gonna stir it before you put it into the syringe to give it to the puppy through the tube. So at 2 weeks, this is the consistency that I'm using. You see how it coats the spoon? It's not very, liquidy, but you can still see the flakes. And every time I take it out the fridge and before I give it to the puppy or whatever, I'm shaking it again to get all of the contents mixed up, and to give it to that a little slighter, a little more liquidy consistency before I give it to the puppy. But this is what I'm looking for after I make my batch. So this right here will last like maybe, I would say, about 7 days. Usually I make a little bit more, but like I said, not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, that's it. I'm not doing milk no more, no more formula. He going straight to mush. and then that's it. No more no more the liquid. Maybe I'll make a little bit of this liquid to put on the mush for the transition, like right before the 3 weeks. So every Tuesday to Tuesday is a week. So next Tuesday, like I said, is 2 weeks. The next Tuesday after that, 3 weeks. I'll make, the last of this. And then the last of it I'll pour on top of the mush just to give him the same flavor that he's been used to. And then once he picks up on the mush, I do away with this milk, and then boom, he's straight on mush after that. And then it's off to the races after that. Straight mush 2 or 3 times a day, and that'll keep him, for until he gets on hard food. Once he gets on hard food, it's smooth sailing. But I do want to reiterate, the whelping, it's not for everybody. If you breeding puppies, listen. The easy part is getting that stud, inseminating the female, whether it be through TCI, whether it be through artificial, whether it be through surgical. Boom. All of that stuff is step by step. That's all of that stuff you can do. That's easy work, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But when that female takes, and then you got the puppies dropping, that's when the real work begins. Because now you got things to tend to. Again, like I said earlier, if you got a good whelper, keep them on speed dial. And let them know, my puppies are almost here. Stand by. I'm gonna need you on standby. Meet me at the vet to pick up the puppies, whatever. But I've heard some good stories about whelpers, and I've also heard some bad stories, like the yin and yang of life. It's one of those things. Like you never know. The main thing that I'll give y'all as a good tip is this plays a big factor in whelping puppies. Don't take the puppies out too early. If you take the puppies out too early, the puppies have a lower chance of survival. So you got to count those days from when you started your AIs. If you did 3 AIs, they say usually you do 11, 13, and 15, and use the 13 date as the median. But you have to watch your female. If she's not ready, she's gonna tell you when she's ready. She's gonna start talking to you. I know that sounds crazy, but not talking to you, like how I'm talking to you now. But you're gonna start seeing the signs. And sometimes it's just if you don't know like what day she took, because you would never know, because the semen stays inside the female for 2 days after you inseminate her. So if you did 3, you're not gonna know exactly what day she took. So now when it comes up to the gestation, well, I think that's the word. The normal days for a female to for the puppies to stay in is 61 to 63 days. So you have to, just watch your female around the 60th day, 61st day, 62nd, 63rd day. Watch to see if she's not eating. If she loses her appetite, you feed them in the morning and she don't eat. That's a sign. She's panting heavy. That's another sign. And if she starts nesting, you got to start meaning that wherever she's sleeping at, she starts scratching at the bed, or she starts scratching at the bottom of the crate or the newspaper or whatever she's in. She's gonna start going in corners and scratching at it, trying to dig holes. That's just a natural thing that female puppies do to get ready for when they know that their puppy's on the way. If she's nesting, you got at least 24 to 48 hours. Well, not even. You got 24 hours. I would get her to the vet the next day. One of the things that I forgot was you buy yourself a thermometer, a rectal thermometer. You stick it in their rectum, and then you test it. If it's under a 99, a 98 point, at a 98, you got 24 to 48 hours. Just remember those numbers. If her temperature is at a 98, you got 24 to 48 hours before she gives birth. So now you got to start watching her. If she's panting heavy, that should be when you're on the way to the vet, and the puppies, you could probably cut her that day. If she's nesting, more than likely that's a good clue she's gonna give birth. You know, you never want to get caught off guard, especially if you got like micro bullies, bulldogs, these small dogs that can't really do vaginal births. You gotta make sure you are on point and you watching them. You don't want to have these puppies in your house because you're gonna lose your whole litter. And well, you might not lose your whole litter because there's been times where I've heard that puppies made it. You know, the mother starts pushing and the puppies make it. So, but me personally, I don't want to take that chance, and I know a lot of people in the community or dog community, they don't want to take that chance. They want to get them to a vet because you know you cut them out, you save mom and you save the puppies. You got a high chance of keeping all your puppies alive. But there are miracle stories where mom pushes all the puppies out and all the puppies thrive and they do well. But whatever. I went off on a tangent, but that was some good information for y'all to keep in the back of your heads when it comes to these puppies. But again, this formula is for if mom is not feeding, she doesn't want to feed, or she's not producing milk. This for tube feeding and bottle feeding. This is my way. You could use your own way. And stay tuned. I'm gonna give y'all a little extra clip at the end, show y'all this puppy and how I tube feed him. All right, lock in. All right, y'all. This is the puppy I was telling y'all about. He's been getting tube fed since since April 1st. That was the day he was born, and he's still thriving. You can see he's moving around. You're about to call out the incubator, but he's still here. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all real quick tube feeding on how I tube feed, and just stay tuned. This is gonna be a quick little video. This is how I do it, and just stay tuned. All right, y'all. So this is the puppy. He's out. He's been getting tube fed, like I told y'all in the last clip, since he's been home, and he's hungry right now. So I'm gonna just tube feed him real quick. I'm gonna show y'all. But before y'all tube feed any puppy, make sure y'all let him use the bathroom. So you get a wipe, and you just lightly tap. You see he peeing already. Just lightly wipe his back area, and he should poop. If not, if he didn't poop already, but it's good to let him poop before you feed him. Some more 80% of the times they're just gonna pee, and the other percentage he might poop. If not, it's all right. He'll just poop later. But this is a practice that you want to do before you feed him. This whole process takes about 2 minutes. This is like much easier if you got like a singleton puppy and the puppy is just by himself or whatever, and you just feed him like one time. Well, you feed him one puppy at obviously at the he didn't poop, so we're just gonna go ahead and feed him. So you take the puppy. This is the syringe that I was telling y'all about. And this is the tube. With this tube, you want to, if you see that, is a little black mark right there. You mark it with like a marker. And how I get that mark is I take from the bottom of his last rib, you put the beginning of the tube there, and then you make it go all the way to his nose. He's moving around, but usually do this like at the beginning, and then you get that mark right there. That's how far that you have to stick the tube into his body to make it go straight to his stomach. If not, you're gonna go into his lungs and you can make him aspirate. So you have to make sure you're going straight to his stomach. So you take him. And you put the tube, and he's gonna start swallowing the tube. Pause, and then you just you put all the way to the black mark, and then you hold it. And a quick tip to make sure you're in the right place: you pull back on the tube. If you pull back on the tube and you get resistance, you're in his stomach. If you don't get resistance, you're in his lung. In his lungs. You got to start back over again. So now you just take the tube. And you slowly Just push it down slowly, keeping his head up. Until the tube is completely empty. And then you just pull the tube out slowly. And that's it. You just tube fed the puppy. And then you just see his stomach. You see he's fully fed. And then you put him back into where he needs to go. And then that's it. He'll go right to sleep. All right. That's the quick feeding. That's a quick way to tube feed a puppy. Little quick tip. Get you some of this if you whelping puppies, or if you got newborn puppies. This is good nutrients for them. You usually put like a little bit of this on the tip of your finger, and you put it like at the roof of their mouth, or on their gums and on their tongue. And you usually give them this like maybe once or twice, I don't know, a day or a week, whatever you want to do, and then it gives them good energy, and it helps with like fading puppy syndrome also. All right, that's that. All right, that's just a little quick tip for y'all. But that's a quick tube feeding video on how to tube feed the puppy. You see he's full. You see his stomach is fat, and he's about to go to sleep now. All right, so that's a quick video. Like I say at the end of every video, 3 things in life you got to remember and never forget. Trust God, love family, and stay focused. Until the next video, stay focused, y'all.